Hi there, I'm Shane, and this is just going to be a little video about some photos that I took a week ago at the Arboretum, which is part of the Royal Botanical Gardens, which is just between Burlington and Hamilton, Ontario. It's an awesome spot if you've never been, and it's one of my favorite spots to hike in the area. The paths are very accessible, and it's just super pretty. In this video, I'm just going to be talking about some of the photos I took, why I took them, and what I used. I took along my favorite camera, which is getting well along in its age now, which is the Sony a7R III, and a variety of lenses. I started off with using the 24-70, but I was having a bit of a hard time finding compositions for it. I found the rather even lighting to be actually almost detrimental because I just couldn't see anything too exciting, and I found the telephoto end of it to be a lot more compelling. So naturally I went to the complete extreme and switched over to the 200 to 600 millimeter. But that's because in the middle of Cootes Paradise there's this island which is where a lot of the cormorants nest, and I really liked how these photos turned out. They kind of flattened out the composition quite nicely and kind of gave a unique perspective of a rather ugly subject, which looked kind of cool. The weather was rather drab though, and it was like 4 degrees out, so none of the wildlife was too excited either. But there was a lot of birds out making their nests, and I got some photos of these little guys kind of bouncing about, collecting some grass. The geese notably were much less excited to see me though, so I kept my distance. One perk of days when the weather's kind of gross like this is that no one else is here, so I kind of had the whole park to myself, which is really nice, especially at my favorite spot here, which is this huge boardwalk which goes out into the bay, and it's rather narrow, so I always feel guilty if I'm staying on here taking photos because I feel like I might be holding someone up, but I was able to hang out here for quite a long time and get some fun photos. One neat little fact is that I know no neat facts about birds. I pretty much know nothing about them, though I can tell you this is a red-winged blackbird, and this is a swan. But despite how many photos I've taken of them, I have yet to really learn anything about them, so maybe one day in the future I'll get a little bit more bird knowledge. I was really hoping that the weather would turn around though and have a bit of sun or fog, but unfortunately it stayed overcast perfectly the entire time. But I did get a really nice photo of the 403, which is the highway I take to work every day, and some more birds. There were actually a lot of deer here. I didn't manage to get any videos of them, but they were off in the bush watching me. Kind of spooky because I'd just turn around and I'd kind of see a deer staring at me. None of the trees are really in bloom yet, but the magnolias are starting to flower, and one of my favorite things is to get some photos of these, especially when it's wet like this, because I find the kind of dew and condensation on the leaves to be really interesting and get some really kind of dreamy like photos. It reminds me of my time in Vancouver, as I kind of always take photos like this there. That's going to be it for the video though. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.